Let's look at where you want to fly in Italy. Remember, the time equals money factor. So although you're saving money on tickets, you're eating into your vacation time. That was a journey. It's hot here. Italy, it's a perfect place to vacation, to take a break from your busy life, back to a romantic time, art gazing, relaxing lakeside in Como, or eating that perfect plate of pasta in Rome. You need to know a few basics before taking off to Bella Italia. Which airports to use, the travel essentials like booking a hotel or taking a train, and when not to drink a cappuccino. In this video, we're gonna deep dive into all of that and more. Today, I'm traveling to Italy. I'm gonna miss Lisbon, such a cool city. At the airport, obrigado. When traveling to Italy, you wanna think about which airport you need to fly to, what area of Italy you're traveling to. I live in Florence, but I had to pick a flight to Bologna today. Well, this airport's packed. So a lot of where you travel in Italy depends upon which region you want to see. If you want to go to Tuscany, you want to consider certain airports. If you want to go up in the north, see Lake Como, you want to consider other airports. And if you want to go in the south, Sicily or Puglia, you have other options. Wow, summer months are here and this airport is packed. I have my little oasis in the desert right up there. Let's go. This is the airport ANA lounge. So good. Let's look at where you want to fly in Italy. I'm going to break it down into 5 areas: Milan, Venice, Florence, Rome, and Sicily. Now each one of these areas has its major airport. Milan has Malpensa, Venice has Venezia, Florence has Petratrola, Rome has Fiumicino, and Sicily, it has Palermo. These are the major airports. So what you want to do when booking your holiday or your vacation to Italy, depending on the area you want to fly to, decide if you want to fly up to the north. And if you want to fly to the north, Milan is your best option. And if you want to fly to Milan, Malpensa will give you the most options. And then you begin to look at ticket prices for Malpensa. The same for Rome with Fiumicino, the same for Florence with the Firenze-Florence airport. And in Sicily, there's either Palermo or Catania. Both of those are nice sized airports. Then you get down to the basics, the specifics, where exactly you want to go around those major airports. In Milan, if you want to go towards Torino, towards the Alps, Malpensa is your best option. If you want to go right into the heart of Milan, try to get a flight into Linate. It's a little bit harder to get into that airport, but it's less crowded, better served, and especially if you're doing business in and out of Milano. If you're further afield, off to the east of Milan, heading towards Brescia, and if you want to go out towards Venice, well, Bergamo might be your option, and that serves low-cost airlines like Ryanair. The same with Venice. If you don't want to spend much time in Venice, don't go to the airport. Try getting a flight into Verona. If you want to go to Verona, then go up to the lakes, Verona airport could be a good option. Then you want to look at the prices, because often you may get lower cost airfares if you fly to a smaller airport like Treviso if you want to go to Venice and see the famous canals. For example, I have a price matrix graph when I fly to Florence, my home. Ideally, I'm flying into Florence. That's the happiest, sweetest spot. If I can get a low-cost ticket to Florence, I fly to Florence. As tickets start to become more expensive, I start to look further afield. My next airport of choice is Bologna when I want to get to Florence. That's where I'm flying to today. When you fly into Bologna, you have to take a tram to the Bologna train station, then a train from the Bologna train station to the Florence train station before you can get to Florence. So it takes more time, but if the ticket prices are going up, you want to consider Bologna. Now, if the ticket prices are even more expensive and you need to get to Florence and they're too expensive to fly to Florence or to fly to Bologna, look at Pisa. Pisa's not one of my preferred airports, but I fly there if I have to, especially if I'm flying on low-cost airlines. So if the tickets are so expensive, go to Pisa. From Pisa Airport, there's a little light rail that takes you to the Pisa train station, and then from the Pisa train station, there's a slow train that takes you to the Florence Central train station. But remember, the time equals money factor, so although you're saving money on tickets, you're eating into your vacation time when you're flying to these airports that are further away from where you want to go.
Obrigado, bye, thank you. That is a great little lounge in there. Very dark cocktail lounge type feel, and I love that you can see the airport runway and get a whole sense of what's going on here at the Lisbon airport. I like this airport. Now today I'm flying the national carrier for Portugal, TAB Airlines. They had flights to Florence, but they were too expensive. I think the flight was 450 euro, one-way ticket. Instead, a flight to Bologna cost only 150 euro. Now the great thing about traveling to Italy versus other countries, maybe like the United States, is that most of the airports, or in fact all the airports, are connected by great public transportation, light rail, a bus, or a train, so you can get to where you need to go. But still, it's better just to figure out where you want to go and plan the right airport. Hi, we are back in Italy, but in Bologna. Luggage claim, now onto the light rail. This lady's so kind. $9.20 the light rail to get from the airport to the train station. So you're gonna need to factor in your cost, because already with the flight, we got the $9.70 rail, and then at the train station, we got the cost of the train ticket. While on the light rail, I was able to purchase my train ticket using the Trenitalia app. Now it's a mad rush to get to the train, hopefully catch it on time.
Just a real quick break from the video. Drop some comments down below. How do you choose the right airport when you're flying?
I was just pointing at the board there. When you're in a train station in Europe, look for the time of your train, then look for the platform. Also confirm the train number up there on the board. When you're waiting on the platform, they'll put the numbers up there. I'm number 2. I got a business class ticket. So that way you know where to wait on the platform, so when the train rolls up, you're in the right spot.
There you can see my information. I paid 45 euro for this ticket, so the price is adding up. Now the great thing about Trenitalia in business class, you get free coffee, free drinks, some free water, sweet or savory snacks. I mean, it's Italian coffee.
So the great thing is that the train was on time, and I made a quick connection in the Bologna Central train station. That trash can is smoking. It's 34 degrees out there. I'm sweating like a madman. I made the decision, maybe it was the wrong decision, to walk from the train station, which is normally a nice walk. I'm drenched in sweat. Hold on. Let's talk about what I learned. I'm gonna go back to this graph here. When you have a low cost ticket, you're here. Higher cost ticket, you go to Bologna, which is what I did today, or further afield to Pisa. I decided to go the Bologna route. I saved around 150 on my train ticket. But in retrospect, that cost me time, and time is money. I should have just paid more for the Florence ticket. You need to consider how much time, how much of your time it'll take, and how much extra money and extra transportation it'll take to get to your final destination. You don't take credit card?
No credit card.
No credit card. Now is the perfect time to visit Italy, the land of fashion, pasta, and wine. While walking around this beautiful city of Florence, I'm gonna give you my top travel tips for visiting Italy. My first advice is visit Italy now. These are the perfect summer months. The nights are warm, so you can sit outside. Everybody's buzzing around on the scooters. You can sit outside, enjoy your evening meal, your glass of wine in the warm air, because you're guaranteed almost good weather in this. You're guaranteed almost good weather in these seasons. Where to fly to? Well, Italy has 2 major airports. Up in the north, there's Milan. Down in the south, there's Rome. So most of your major international flights will be going to those 2 airports. Your international flight from the United States, from Canada, or from other parts in the world take you first to a layover in Europe, say to London, say to Brussels, say to Paris, and then you fly to Italy. Well, you could be flying to some other minor airports like Bologna, like Pisa, or even like here in Florence. But be aware of where you want to visit in Italy and make sure you travel to the right airport. transportation within Italy.
Just to interrupt this video for 1 second to let you know about the Italy Insider e-guide that I put out so you can download it, have it in your pocket offline when you're traveling around this country. Everything you need to know about getting to and from Italy, hotels, Airbnbs, things like carrying cash, and how you're gonna connect to the internet. There's a link to download it in the description below.
Once you get to Italy, you need to figure out how you're getting around. The great thing in Italy is that it has a super high-speed train that's easy to use. It runs the main line from the north in Milan to Bologna to Florence, down to Rome, and all the way down to Naples. Now, the high-speed train is going to be great for you if you're visiting only the big cities, because every big city has a train station right in the center, and it's super easy to get to those train stations. If you need to go to some smaller cities, you can take the smaller regional trains from the major train stations, or if you choose to go the rental car option, rent a car. It can be daunting at first, but it is fun, and once you get the hang of it, you can visit some beautiful places out in the countryside. But again, if you're just hitting the major cities, well, then take the train. Now, where are you gonna book? Where are you gonna stay? My advice is use one of those aggregate websites like booking.com. The benefits of booking in a hotel is that you normally have breakfast. You have someone there, a 24-hour and 7-day-a-week reception. So if you come in late to the city, you know someone's gonna be there. I personally use Booking for all my hotels when I'm traveling around. It may be a little bit more expensive than if you go the Airbnb route, but for the convenience, you can't beat it. And if you only have 1 week to spend in this beautiful country, then don't bother trying to save a penny here or save a nickel there. If you want to have the more typical Italian experience here in Florence and in the other big cities as well, there are plenty of options with the Airbnb route. So you get to really see how these Italian apartments, how these Italian buildings are built. You get to open up those big windows, you get to have a kitchen, and the Airbnb option will allow you to cook a dinner at home one night if you're feeling tired and you don't feel like a night out on the town. And this is definitely my recommendation if you're staying out in the countryside. Go the Airbnb option because you can get some great deals out there for Airbnb. The only caveat would be is that it's a little bit harder and slower to check in. Listen to those church bells, you know you're in Italy. Now I want to show you one of my best and favorite spots here in Florence. Look at this. This is Ponte Trinita. And from here, you can see over that way Ponte Vecchio. It's an awesome place to come for the sunset. Hold on, we want to go this way. Let's talk about my suggested itinerary. If you only have 7 days in Italy, I would recommend Milan. I would recommend Venice. I would recommend Florence and Rome. Now, I'm going to suggest to you either a southern tour or a northern tour. Look at these ladies, they're getting their snaps right here. This is the place you want to get your photo to. This bridge offers an excellent view. I want to suggest to you what is my southern tour and my northern tour if you only have 7 days in Italy. Now, the northern tour would be flying into Milan Malpensa, the big major international airport up there, hitting up Milan for one night, then going out to Venice for one night if you can, and then down to Florence, and finally to Rome, where you want to have 2 or 3 nights minimum. I really don't think Milan is worth it. You want to go there, you want to see the cathedral, the Duomo. It is amazing, no doubt about that. But for me, the other cities are more impressive. So I would suggest, if you can, the southern tour, flying into Rome in the south and immediately getting on a train down to Naples. Just amazing. That is some of the best food in Italy down in Napoli. You won't regret for going down there and spending at least one night down there. Then back to Rome. What you want to do there is 2 to 3 nights in Rome, and you're gonna need it. From the Colosseum to the Pantheon to Trevi Fountain, you're gonna need that time in Rome. Up here to Florence, and then if you can, zip up to Venice. Look at this amazing, cool little street. If you've been to Italy before and you've roamed these streets before, drop some comments down below. Let me know where you've been, or if you haven't, let me know where you want to go. And I want to remind you, if you're enjoying these videos, all my travels around the world and here in Italy, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps out a lot. Travel light when you travel to Italy. I see so many tourists come here with big bags of luggage hauling them over these cobbled streets and narrow sidewalks. Unlike other places like in the United States, we don't have large, wide, smooth sidewalks to pull your luggage, and often if you're coming from a train station in the center of town, you have to leg it to your hotel, and that could be a good 10-20 minute walk. And doing so, you're gonna be tired. And I'll let you in on a secret: if I have a trip of 7 days, I'll just pack 3 pairs of underwears, 3 pairs of socks, wash them midway and let them hang and dry in my hotel. Anything to save weight, because the faster you can travel, the more you can see. And remember, here in many places there are not even elevators, so you're gonna have to leg it up the stairs. As my good friend once told me, travel light and travel far. Bring some cash. Always have some cash with you. Yes, most places here, even in Italy, take credit cards, so you'll have no problem. But if you're at small newsstands or small souvenir shops, they may not take a credit card, or they may not want to charge a small item like 2 or 5 euro. Now, how do you have cash? Well, get some money exchanged from your bank before you leave home. Or the other option, and the option I've always done, is when I get to the country, I get my bank card and I go to the local bank machine and I pull out some local currency. Now, you may pay a bank fee, but that small bank fee is worth not carrying around a large chunk of cash in your pocket at all times. Bring a power adapter for all your electronic devices. The US runs on 110 voltage, Europe runs on 220 volts. I'm not talking about bringing a voltage converter, I'm talking about what you need to charge your smartphone, your laptop, the essentials. There are 2 different types of plugs here in Italy: Type C and Type F. The latter is more common all around Europe. That'll get you out of most jams. Now, here's a pro tip, and one I even use: carry a power strip, so that way you only have to use one adapter. Plug the power strip into the adapter, then plug all your devices into that power strip. Oh my, this piazzetta here is buzzing. Everyone's out. You get good food everywhere you go. Little sandwiches here, little sandwiches there. They cook up the cow's stomach, the old lampredotto. And another thing you want to carry around with you during the day when you're out and about sightseeing is a battery pack, because often you won't have time to get back there to the hotel and recharge your smartphone so you can take all those Instagram shots, or so you can navigate around on Google Maps. As you can see, there are restaurants everywhere in Italy, and that's one of the main reasons why you should visit Italy, is simply for the food. My advice: go on a diet before you come to Italy, because you'll need all that extra space in your stomach. Or when you're here, just throw the diet out the window. Just get in here and have a feast. There's pasta, there's bread, there's wine, there's meats, there's cheeses. Everything you want and love is here in Italy. Seriously, you must build your day around eating here in Italy. Start in the morning with some croissants with your coffee. The Italians love their sweets in the morning. At lunch, get a nice healthy serving of pasta. Really enjoy all the different sauces from the different areas. At night, go in for the second course plates. Drown yourself in wine. Really enjoy and taste all the flavors. And when you get back home, you'll realize the Italian restaurants have nothing and no bearings, no connection to what you get and eat here in Italy. You don't take credit card?
No credit card.
No credit card. There you go. Now, something else of note in Italy: you do not have to tip. Well, in fact, all around Europe, don't tip. If you want to, drop €1 down, maybe drop €2 after a nice dinner. Plan ahead. And that means for those big items like the Uffizi Museum here in Florence, or like the Colosseum in Rome, book online, get your tickets so you don't have to stand there and wait in line with all the other tourists, and you maximize your vacation time. One other thing of note too: when you're planning ahead, plan ahead for your restaurants, for your dinner. That means when you're finished lunch and you're sitting there sipping on your last sips of wine, start thinking about what you're going to have for dinner. Many of these places, and especially in the summertime, they're going to be packed at those prime eating hours. You look on Google Maps as you're finishing up your lunch, you find that restaurant, well, book in there. Most of them speak English when you call up, well, at least enough English to make the reservation. Get that reservation, get those museum tickets. Posso posso avere un cold brew? 350 and with the credit. It's bad. It's bad. I'm doing it. Grazie. Thank you. This is just what I needed.
Now, 2 more tips for you. Learn a few local phrases before you come to Italy. And I recommend that for any country you visit, you endear yourself to the locals because you're trying. So it's buongiorno for good morning, or hello in the morning hours here in Italy.
Buongiorno.
And some other basic phrases that will save you in a pinch and just help you make friends.
And another thing is you're gonna have to think how you're gonna keep your blood flowing. And by that, I mean, how are you gonna keep your smartphone connected to the internet? Well, you have Wi-Fi when you're in the Airbnb or if you're at your hotel, but you're not gonna have mobile data when you're roaming around the city. So my advice, before you leave your home country, check with your local carrier. See if they offer an international or European or Italian data plans. Another option is that when you arrive at the train station or maybe at the airport, you can go into a phone store. There are 2 big ones here, Vodafone or TIM, and you can get a data SIM card to put into your telephone. That's gonna give you data anywhere you go and allow you always to surf the internet. So what are you doing for internet?
Just Wi-Fi?
You guys gotta get internet. Oh, that's gonna go right to the head. Nick and Vic, safe travels. Nice couple there. Just came over from, get this, they just came over from Chile.
One more other thing, another reason why you need to visit Italy. Look at this. With architecture like this, you have no excuse.
Try to give yourself enough time between your connecting trains so you can make it. My train's way down there on the other end of this train station. Planning on coming to Italy, chances are you'll be coming to one of these, a train station. So how do you buy tickets and how do you plan your trip? And what should you not do when taking the Italian trains? I'm in Florence, Italy, on my way to the Rome Fiumicino Airport train station. And along the way, I'm gonna explain to you what I've learned over all these years traveling by train. Keep in mind, in big cities, you'll have several different train stations, but only one main train station. In Milan, it's Milano Centrale. In Rome, it's Roma Termini. Here in Florence is Santa Maria Novella, or SMN. So when you're traveling by train, make sure you're going to the right train station. Don't make the mistake of picking the wrong train station. And you know you're in Italy when the church bells are ringing loud. Here we are at the train station. Once inside the train station, you'll see some big lines over that way, and that's the biglietteria. Right inside, you get some personnel. You'll see the lines or the queues of people. There you can go up, talk to someone, and buy announcements all the time. You can go up there and you can buy your ticket. They'll give you a big ticket. It looks like an airline ticket, and off you go. And that's a great way to go up at the counter if you're a first timer to Italian trains. Now locals and pros will go up to these self-service automated machines. You type in your destination and you decide where you want to go, you buy your ticket, and you're on your way. Keep in mind, some of the machines take cash only and some take credit cards. So if you want to pay with credit card, make sure you're selecting the right machine. One bit of advice, however, when you're around these machines, watch out for scammers and pickpocketers and beggars asking for money. They tend to congregate around these machines. The machines, the self-service machines, are perfect for local travel, like if you're traveling from here in Florence to Pisa. For bigger journeys, like from Milan to Venice or from here in Florence to Rome, it's always better to buy in advance. And that's easy. You can go to the website, the main website, Trenitalia, or download their app and purchase your ticket. This way you're getting a better fare and you're making sure you have a space on the high-speed train. There's also a competitor, Italo Treno, so you can check out their website as well.
Don't wait till you get to the train station to buy your tickets, especially on those high-speed, fast trains, the long journeys. Buy them in advance.
Don't worry, because all the train stations will have cafes and bars where you can buy some sweets and some food before your train ride. I got a wrap and a bottle of water.
Now inside the train station, you'll see the big boards that say partenze e arrivi, arrivals and departures. Look on those boards. You want to look for partenze and check for your train time and then check for your train number, because be aware there could be 2 trains to Milano at the same time, but different train numbers. Maybe one's going slower and one's going faster. So confirm the train time, they're sorted in order of time, and confirm the train number. Be aware, because off to the side you could see a number with a little apostrophe. That's the time and delay if there is a delay. Sometimes it says 5', delay. I've seen times when it's been 90 or 120 apostrophe, huge delays. So you look at the train departure time. If it's at 2 o'clock and it says 5-minute delay, that means it's leaving at 2:05. And don't make the mistake of getting on the wrong train. Make sure you check that board well for the time and the train number.
All these people standing here are waiting for the platforms to be announced on the sign up there. What the platforms are, they're the binari in Italian, the binario, and you need to know which platform your train will arrive at. There's all these numbers here, they're numbered there, they're numbered there. So pay attention on the board, which platform does your train arrive at, and also listen to those announcements. They announce them in Italian. Hear that right there? They announce them in Italian and in English, and sometimes you may be standing on a platform and they change it to another platform just 2 minutes before the train arrives. So don't zone out and pay attention to the platform announcements. Just interrupt this video for 1 second to let you know about the regular newsletter I'm putting out with travel tips and hacks and other sorts of exclusive content that you may not find here in the videos. There's a link to join in the description below. Now when you get up to the platform, you see the train arriving, pay attention to those signs up there and look at your ticket. Which coach are you in? You can already line up at the right coach. That way when the train arrives, like mine just did right now, you're already in the right position for your right car or your right coach. You get in, check your ticket, and look for the seat number. I'm coach number 2 on this fast train, the Freccia Rossa 1000. Look at that right there. It's much faster to move outside the train than it is when you're on the train navigating to the different cars. So make the right coach selection outside the train and zip up to the train. And up and on. I'm number seat 14A. And you know we're in Italy, they serve you coffee on the train.
Traveling at 175 kilometers an hour as we zip from Florence down to Rome. These high-speed trains are great, and they're a little bit bouncy too. On local trains, you have to think about your seating. The seating's GA or it's a free-for-all, so get there early to make sure you have a seat. Those are the trains like from Florence to Pisa, from Milan to Bergamo. At busy times, at rush hour times, it's standing room, and you could be standing for around about 1 hour. On these fancier high-speed trains, you have car number 1, which is the executive car. They're big reclining seats. They have about 7 seats in that car. You even have a meeting room as well, which Trenitalia let me use. And you have all the other cars, and it's assigned seating, so don't worry, you get a big, comfortable seat with ports to plug in your computer, recharge your phone, and I suggest you do that so when you arrive to your destination, you have plenty of juice on your phone so you can navigate around the city. Also in business class, which I'm traveling today, they serve you coffee and they serve you snacks. And if you book early enough on the website, you can often get great deals. Even traveling in the executive car or the business car, you're not paying that much more in money. They let me use this meeting room here, so I'm not disturbing the others when I'm talking to my camera, but when you're at your seat, don't use your phone, don't speak loudly, be respectful, and don't disturb your neighbors. I want to show you one more thing, one of my favorite things on the train. Now they cut it out in times of COVID, but it's back. The food cart. In this case, it's in car number 3 or 4, I think. And they have the basics here. You can get a coffee, you can get a beer, you can get a sandwich, and you always get a friendly smile from the barista there working the machine. Don't come here expecting a fancy cappuccino or bistecca fiorentina. It's a perfect place to get some food if you forgot to get something to eat at the train station. Now all trains, even the local ones, will have a restroom, a bathroom, a place where you can relieve yourself if you need to. Like everything on the smaller local trains, expect that the service is not that beautiful, not that well maintained. On the bigger trains, they're better maintained, cleaner, and you can find more, about 2 for each car. And help keep everything clean and tidy. Wipe the surfaces down when you're done, and don't forget this.
I'm at Roma Termini. My next train, my train from this train station to the Rome airport is in 8 minutes. My advice is when you're booking your tickets, like a flight, try to give yourself enough time between your connecting trains so you can make it. My train's way down there on the other end of this train station. If you're enjoying these videos, please make sure you're subscribed if you haven't yet already. It's platform number 24 and we've made it. Here it is. It's this little train. After a high-speed train, we're now on this little commuter train from here out to the airport. Don't give yourself a short change time. Give yourself plenty of time to change trains. Keep your ticket with you when you travel. They can check it on the train, and if you don't have it, you can get a fine. And when exiting the airport here, you need it to scan through the gates. Stations in Italy are in the center of town, or in this case at the airport. And right outside the station, you can usually find shops, restaurants, and hotels, anything you need. And the taxis, they're right outside. Around the station, watch out for scammers and other sort of dubious people, especially arriving at night. If that's the case and your train arrives late, especially just jump into a taxi and get to where you need to go quickly. And one last thing when you're taking trains in Italy, don't forget to relax, look out the window, and just enjoy the experience.
Stir the cup like a glass of wine.
Wow. For Italians, coffee is espresso. That's all they have. Pepe's the barista here. Thanks, Pepe.
You're welcome, my friend.
Good morning from Florence. It is one of those wet spring days and I haven't yet had a coffee. That's so I can take you to several different coffee shops today, show you how to order a coffee and what are the different coffee types you can expect to find when you visit Italy. And stick with me because at the end of the video, I'm gonna be walking through all those other fancy coffee types and whether or not if you can even find those here. But enough of that, let's go get a coffee. This country has a weird coffee culture. They claim they invented it and they know what's best for you and how you should drink it. I don't always agree with all their rules. Italians drink at least 3 coffees a day at breakfast, after lunch, and after dinner. See that spot right there? That's Le Menagere. That's the first stop of today and I need a coffee. Let's get it. Now people are mostly ordering cappuccinos right now and rightly so. Italians typically drink cappuccinos only in the morning. An Italian who orders a cappuccino after 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock will get a strange look. Foreigners, well, they can get away with it. Typically, the Italian will have their cappuccino with a brioche, a cornetto, and that's it. That's their breakfast. That's because there's this long-held belief by Italians that milk-based drinks are so heavy that they're a meal itself and that you don't dare have one after having lunch or after having dinner. It would completely ruin your ability to digest it and just ruin the whole experience. Look at that. It's beautiful. Now, any other time of day, people drink espresso-style coffees, and rather than being had with dinner or with lunch, they have it after because it's just a shot of coffee. And that gives you an energy kick after you've finished eating. At night, after dinner, or sometimes after lunch, people add a touch of alcohol to their espresso, or a shot of alcohol will be brought out with the espresso, and that's what's called a caffè corretto, to balance the effect so you're not too alert. I love this place. It's so beautiful inside here. In fact, you might see right over there flashes going off. They're using it for a photo shoot. But I gotta finish this up and get out of here onto the next spot.
That's it.
Let's talk about the coffee types because what I had there was a cappuccino. Your standard cappuccino. Here they bring it out in that small glass. It only comes in that size. The other type of cappuccino you can get is a cappuccino scuro. And basically that's a cappuccino but with less milk and they put a little bit extra water in there to make up the difference. Cafe espresso, what they simply call here as cafe. It's an espresso. You have to keep in mind for Italians, coffee is espresso. That's all they have, espresso. If you want an espresso, walk into a bar and say, vorrei un caffè, per favor, and you're gonna get an espresso. The other thing, well, hold on, we're almost to the next place. This is it right here, Caffè Gili, the oldest coffee bar in Florence, around 270 years old. That's older than the United States. Keep in mind, at some coffee bars, you need to pay at the cash register first, so look to see what the people are doing inside. Some, you just order the coffee, then pay. In this place, we need to get a receipt from the cash register here, and then we go over there and order our coffee. Posso avere un caffè macchiato?
Al bar?
Sì.
1,30. Grazie.
Grazie. Got the ticket ready to order. Caffè macchiato. Grazie. Just give me a little shot of chocolate and chocolate. Now what I have here is a caffè macchiato. It's simply a coffee that's been marked with milk. Caffè macchiato. Macchiato means marked. Pepe's the barista here. Thanks, Pepe.
You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Grande. This is the oldest coffee shop here. You have to come here in Florence if you're in Florence. There are a few different other coffees you need to know about. Caffè latte, what Americans simply call a latte, but don't order a latte. If you order a latte, you just get a glass of milk. The other coffees that you want to think about is the caffè ristretto. That's an espresso that's just a little bit of espresso, so a little bit shorter of a pull than they would typically do for normal caffè espresso. The other type is the caffè lungo. That's where they let it go a little bit longer, a little bit something more than espresso. You get a caffè lungo. Che cos'è americano? Un caffè americano.
Americano è un caffè grande.
What he points out here is that a caffè americano will come with an espresso shot in a normal kind of cappuccino cup, and then you get your hot, steamy water in the pitcher on the side. You mix the two, you make a longer coffee. What the Italians think of when the Americans drink coffee, it's a big, long, watered down espresso. Ciao, Pepe. Ciao. Now, many big cities expect to pay first at the cash register, get that ticket, then go up to the counter. But look around to see what the others are doing. Like I said, some places in smaller cities, you just pay after you drink the coffee. Now let's talk about how you pronounce and how you order a coffee. You can go up to the counter and simply say cappuccino. But if you want to add to it, you can go un cappuccino per favore. And my accent is terrible even after all these years. And if you want to add further to that, you could say I would like. So that is vorrei un cappuccino per favore, or vorrei un caffè. And keep in mind there's an accent on the end there, caffè. Ah, the sun is trying to come out, and look, just in time, so we're getting the view. Check it out here. This is Ponte Vecchio. Now I'm excited about this next place I'm taking you to. It's just right over here. To give you an idea, we're heading from the north side of Firenze, Florence, over to the south side, crossing this river, the River Arno. The north side, that's the central side of Florence, where the Duomo is. On the south side, well, that's the cool part. That's where I live, and that's where this next place is. We've gone from the oldest coffee shop, and this is the newest coffee shop, just opened today. Francesco! This guy's the co-owner. Right there, Francesco. When did this place open?
A few hours ago.
A few hours ago.
Coffee you want? Tell me.
I don't know. You pick for me. See, here they have all sorts of coffee beans, so this guy goes to the places, finds the coffee beans. I'm gonna go with a single origin from Costa Rica.
Yeah. Enjoy. Stir the cup like a glass of wine.
Wow. Yeah.
Then smell it. You can capture all the aroma.
Ciao tutti, ciao, ciao. Oh, that was great. Good coffee there at that place. Keep in mind, if you see a list of prices behind the counter, those prices will typically be if you're drinking at the counter. Now, if you sit down at a table in bigger cities, or if you're in front of the Duomo, expect to pay more. The prices can go up quite a bit. There I didn't pay anything. It's their grand opening. Francesco offered me that coffee. Prices will typically be around €1 for a cafe espresso or €1.50 for a cappuccino. If you sit down at some of these bigger places within the city, you can pay $3.50, $4.50 for a cappuccino or an espresso. Be careful, because some places might try to rip you off as a tourist. A few final thoughts. Coffee in Italy is a one-size-fits-all situation. They don't do small, mediums, or large. Maybe at the airports, at the train station, but most bars, most coffee shops don't do that. So don't go in there and ask for a venti because the barista will have no idea what you're talking about. Until recently in Italy, you couldn't get a takeaway coffee. That only became a thing during the pandemic. And so now in many places you do see paper cups, like over there at Ditta Artigianali. I noticed they had some as well, but don't expect that. The coffee experience is to sit down there at the coffee shop or stand at the counter and drink your coffee and just take it all in. Now let's talk about those fancy drinks like flat whites, like Gibraltars. Have you ever had a Gibraltar? Drop some comments down below, and also let me know your favorite type of coffee drink in the comment section down below. Forget about having those here. In a place like Ditta Artigianale, they will offer those, but you don't go to Italy and expect to drink some California wine and have a cheeseburger. No, no, no. So come here to Italy and enjoy the Italian coffee experience.